dicks.
So,
Dong.
You know what? Okay, first off, we are the Murder Mystery Horror Podcast. My brain is
What?
blue screening as we're talking, but we are the Murder Mystery Podcast, part of the Slashing Cast Podcast Network.
It's in the game.
It's in Ken's ass.
ooh,
Also, really quick, thanks Slash and Cast Podcast Network for reaching out to one of our tweets. That was super cool of you. We
Hey.
appreciate you.
Ken, you, by the way, you sound like you're talking in the wrong side of your mic.
Fuck.
that you say that came out crystal clear, just fucking immaculate.
You sounded robotic for a second there when you started talking, but yeah. Talk again, Ken.
Now you sound quiet. Why do you sound quiet now?
How's that?
You sound
Much better.
robotic.
Hold on.
You sound echoey.
Do I sound okay?
Roboty. I don't know. You sound fine, Brian.
I love
was
that
just
we're
ki-
talking about this. We're probably gonna
I mean-
keep this in too.
I mean, we might as well. This is a shit show. Is a shit show of what it is. It was like.
Oh, I found the problem. Is that better?
Yeah, you sound better.
Oh yeah, you sound much better. Yeah,
Yeah.
you sound really
Cool.
good.
Okay. No. Yeah. They. Brian. Brian has taken the tweeters over and done tweeter things.
Brian
For,
has
like-
taken over the Twitter.
He has, and then tried to jerk me off with it. But that's besides the point.
Yeah,
And
Brian's
tried.
killing it.
Whoa,
I
no.
appreciate that.
Fucking succeeded. All right.
I didn't.
It
I
happened.
didn't finish. So
Now you
no.
didn't finish, but that's on you, not me. Okay,
I don't
that
know,
means
man.
you've got some shit going on in your head.
I
And
mean,
you need to
I
get
got,
out.
I got a lot of shit going on in my head. What the fuck are you talking about? Some shit. I got all. You
I
go
love how
over the list of
perplexed
things.
Ken looks right now.
I mean, I don't know what's happening.
Okay, so let's get back to what we were talking about before we started recording.
So what we
and
were
how
talking about
Rod-
before we got started recording was the fact that Rod has a horrible circle of people when it comes to movie reviews.
right?
Because I watched Trap today, which we're going to be covering next week on the podcast.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed it as well. We'll get into all that later.
yeah.
All I will say is I enjoyed it. Rod immediately was like, I've heard it's trash. Everything
I've heard
sucks.
nothing good."
And like straight up everything that Rod was like, I heard that this sucks. I'm like, no, it was actually really good. I heard this sucks. And I'm like, no. And then he was like arguing with me about it, but he hasn't even seen it yet.
I wasn't arguing with you with your fact. I was telling you what I had heard. I had heard that his daughter's
But-
terrible. I heard that it falls off the cliff in the third act. I heard
Mm-mm.
that aliens came to Earth and the only weakness is water, and it's 70% of the Earth.
So, yeah, you have managed to cultivate the most hater-ridden community I've ever heard of.
It's none of this is from
because
the.
I've heard good things as well. I've heard good things about Trap. I've heard that. I've heard it wasn't fucking amazing. Don't get me wrong, but I've heard pretty good shit about.
I'm gonna
it.
be. I'm telling you now because M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. 1 out of 10 times, like, makes me happy, and the knock at the cabin in the woods at the center of the left house on the right, last year was the last one I actually enjoyed.
Okay, I'm writing a script, and that's the name right there. So
that was the last one.
the
And the
knock
only
at
reason
the cabin at the woods at the center of the last house on the right.
next
Okay.
to I don't even know what I said, but no, my point was that movie I liked because he didn't write the script, and so or he wrote the script off of the book or whatever.
Yeah, he
So-
wrote the script but he didn't write the book that it was.
Yeah,
based
so
on.
that's so he didn't have to be like, I'm smarter than everyone. I need a twist ending because I need I am not Shyamalan Ding Dong. Can the look?
You know, it's funny because I actually think the majority of his movies are pretty damn good. There's some that I absolutely didn't like. Like I did not like The Happening at all. I thought that was terrible. I thought After Earth was terrible. I thought Lady in the Water was terrible. But I, for the most part, actually enjoy The Village.
I hate it.
For the most part, I do enjoy Signs.
I hate it.
Well, actually, for all of the part, I enjoy Signs. That's just a fucking masterpiece.
No, it's not a
Or
masterpiece.
not Signs, Sixth Sense. I mean,
Sixth Sense.
the
Yes.
Signs, I for the most part enjoy. I for the most part enjoy. I loved Unbreakable. I love Split. I love The Visit.
Split's one of his.
I think Glass is fair, but I didn't care for the final act. I think I'm more of a Shyamalan fan than you probably.
Oh, I hate
guess. I don't know.
most of his movies. Like it's 1 out of 4.
You really hate that's a strong word. You really hate most of Shyamalan's movies. Are we including Stuart Little?
I've never seen Stuart Little.
You've never seen Stuart Little? You can go fuck yourself.
No, one, I'm old enough and don't have children, Brian.
That doesn't matter. I watched that when I was a goddamn grown-ass person, and I'll watch it.
Because you had children. You had children.
That doesn't matter. No, I didn't watch it because I had kids. I watched it because I wanted to. Have you seen Stuart Little, Ken?
Yes.
Isn't it great?
Yes. It is fabulous. Also, if you take a look at the photo of the guy that plays the boy in Stuart Little next to Tom Cruise, it is very scary.
Are they the same height?
No, the kid who played Tom Cruise or played the kid in Stuart Little looks like he's aged like as a normal human should, whereas Tom Cruise looks like he reverted, like Benjamin buttoned his ass backwards, and it's very, very weird.
That's not even what it is. It's Xenu has endowed Tom Cruise with his everlasting life potion, and so Tom Cruise will live forever. And now you made me think of is the new Linkin Park singer and how it went from people loved her and then people hated her, and now people are kind of okay with her because she's a crazy Scientologist.
Yeah, somebody did some Google research while they were taking a shit and realized they thought they fucking knew everything about her.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it did kind of look like she had to come
on
out
the surface. It looked pretty bad.
Yeah, she had to come and go, hey guys, I really don't like this guy, and because
she was just like any of his friends, which I don't want to say his name. Just like any of that dude's friends, they were all pretty surprised and disappointed.
Except for
his actions.
except for Ashton,
just like most people probably would react. Somebody says something bad about someone that you consider a friend, your knee-jerk reaction would be to defend them, which was what she did. But she also came out and said, yeah, I fucking wish I had never fucking defended the piece of shit also. Yeah. So now, as far as the Scientology shit goes, I don't fucking care. I don't care.
I mean, it is, you worship Xenu and all this shit, whatever. You do you, baby. I think it's crazy, but like, I mean, we have Christians worshiping the cult of Donald Trump. So, I mean, it is.
Most organized religion is fucking
kind
of fucking.
Ken follows the Church of Weasel. It's a very dedicated church to the Weasel Kitty who continues.
I'm going to start going to the Church of Danny DeVito.
As you should.
That cat, by the way, I don't know, when you came back from Tennessee the last time, decided that maybe if she showed her asshole on stream every day, Ken, that you would never leave again. Because that cat, every time she gets on you now, is like, hey guys, look at my asshole.
Yeah, and it's the whole asshole.
It's like the paintings on Bob's Burgers with the animal assholes that Linda's sister did.
Oh yeah, the cat butts, or the animal butts.
Yeah. And it's like Weasel's like, look at my asshole, motherfuckers. It's just like, Weasel.
Wasn't that his wife's sister that was doing those paintings?
Yeah.
I was pretty sure.
It's Gail.
Yeah, Gail.
Yeah, there you go. Megan Mullaley's character.
I want to know. Besides them being able to make the joke, one of the things I never understood was why Gail had dental dams. Because if you don't know, there's an episode of Bob's Burgers where Gail has to spend Thanksgiving at their house because she burns down her apartment because
I've seen that. Yeah,
because she has or I don't know if they say burned it down, but they say there was a fire because she put dental dams in the dryer.
Yeah.
If you don't know what dental dams are, they're basically fruit roll-ups for your pussy so you could get eaten out without I mean,
yep.
We
talk about all sorts of things on this podcast, don't we?
We do. It is called.
We touch all bases.
It's called.
Speaking of touching all bases, did anybody else see Dr. Disrespect's 20-minute rant about how he was not doing anything wrong. He was almost convincing.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah, he's pretty good at bullshitting his fucking dumb fuck followers that are
yeah.
all bunch of fucking incels and plebs and fucking stupid asses.
If you're defending that man now, you should probably drink a quarter of vodka and play in traffic in LA, like on the 405. I think like you should play Frogger, but like in real life, and just like
when Nick Merckx posts a tweet that I agree with, there's something fucking wrong.
Yeah.
And he got on there and he was just like, I can't believe these brain rot fucking idiots are actually defending this guy. And I'm like, wow, Nick, you and I couldn't agree more.
Dude, I saw
now shut the fuck up and play Fortnite, you fucking
one of those
big dumb fucking meathead.
One of the top guys, I forget who it was. It was Dr. Lupo. He went off.
Yeah, I love him.
He did a 2-minute rant about it.
It was it was awesome. Yeah.
And I went into his replies and he goes, "Oh, he solicited sex. Oh, you need to read and do the wording." You people are so insane. It is I mean, it is people. The mental gymnastics people will do to fucking like. I don't know, dude. I'm 41. Dr. Disrespect's a little bit younger than me. Like I think he's like less than a year younger than me.
He's like 40. He's like 40-ish.
Yeah.
40.
It's like
he might be 41 by now, but yeah.
So we're about the same age. And I'm just like, the thought of having sex with a 17-year-old makes me want to vomit. Like, it makes me want to vomit.
Yeah, I have all my kids older than that, so the thought of that would be even well, because I'm 89 years old apparently. Right?
No, you remember?
So
no, you're 832. You're a Highlander. We've gone over this, Brian.
Yeah, you're right. My bad. But yeah, it's you're right. I'm going to use what you said, the mental gymnastics, because I like that. The mental gymnastics that his dumb fuck fans will use to defend that kind of fucking behavior. It's almost impressive in a way. And it's I'm like, okay, look, really step back and look who you're defending. You're defending a dude in a fucking wig and a fucking costume fucking battle vest that plays video games for a living. Not that there's anything wrong with any of those things, because I mean, hey, I tried doing it. I tried having a Twitch channel. I couldn't fucking do it. I was undisciplined and unentertaining apparently, which is fine. But yeah, it's like, dude, like they 4.4 million followers or some shit that he's got. It's fucking sad. I know he's probably going to get reinstated monetization wise, because YouTube makes an awful lot of fucking money with him streaming, because they get a big fucking cut of that, obviously. So I know he's probably going to be reinstated on his monetization. Do I think he should? Fuck no. He's a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
We talked about him way too long.
Well, so what I had found, where I had like fallen down this crazy rabbit hole earlier, is a mutual of mine and some others got into a disagreement with this guy on Twitter who was defending Dr. Disrespect tooth and nail, about how just labeling him makes you look like an R word and all this other stuff. And then his big follow-up to make himself sound like, he was doing something was that he's a parent of twins that came home from school in the 4th grade after being taught about furries at school. Now, whether or not he's saying that the children taught them about it, or if they're teachers, I learned about shit like that at school. It's not the teacher's job to police those communications. Like, that's part of going to school. It's part of being in society. You can't keep these children in a bubble. Anyway, all this person pointed out basically how ridiculous this dude was being. And now he's threatening cease and desist. He used his Twitter blue, wrote up a whole cease and desist letter, like making it sound like legitimate, and said that he was a public figure so he could do it. And he has 600 followers on huge streamer network, and he's like, Twitter isn't my main thing, and blah blah blah. And there's 7 people in his network, and like I
Wow.
and it's just a whole thing where now he's like filing claims with Twitch, he's filing claims with Twitter, he's doing all this shit. And Strict Liability, who is a lawyer who helps a lot of streamers on the platform with advice. Like he can't legally offer advice because you know. But he replied and he was like, "This is the dumbest bullshit I've ever seen." And he's going out of his way. It's phenomenal. Anyway, all that stemming from Dr. Disrespect stuff.
Yeah, it's insanity.
Man.
Dude, the thing is, man, like regardless of the internet like giving stupid people a platform, which obviously has been doing for 20 plus years, 25 years, 30 years, the problem like ultimately is that then we had a dude with a 3rd grade IQ become president, and so stupid people decided that meant that they could be stupid and it would be okay to like honor the rest of society with their bullshit. And yeah, and now here we are. So let us like take a lesson back that like maybe before you tweet stupid shit, you should go and like run it by and make sure that like get one of your smart friends. Although most of these people don't have smart friends because they've lost them all through like Facebook conspiracy theories and shit. Like, wow, as I burp. Maybe you should just like stop thinking urine. That's the problem, man. Like the problem is that like us millennials specifically. There goes Ken. Us millennials.
What? Where'd I go?
Oh, your video disappeared for a second.
Not for me.
Oh, for me it did. So us millennials grew up with participation trophies and all this shit, and then everyone after us like continued with that. And now that everyone thinks that means that they are worthy and the most important person in the world no matter what, and that your bullshit opinions and your bullshit like stupid things, that anything you say out loud or speak into the internet means that whatever you're saying is valid and important. Hey, guess what, guys? I have to tell you something. You're not important. You're a fucking moron, and you should probably stop speaking out loud.
Yeah.
Go back and continue to clean toilets at McDonald's and show up on World Star like and fucking other YouTube sites for like or YouTube for like being morons and getting into fist fights in public. Just stop being stupid. Stop it. You could be stupid.
You're asking a lot. You're asking a lot, Rod.
I am asking a lot. I'm just
You're
asking
a lot, man.
that you just you keep your stupid like put your MAGA flag in front of your house. Let everyone know you're a moron and then just never say anything again. Just continue to be a moron and we'll be good. Okay. We'll do trap next week. It looks fucking stupid, but we'll go do that anyways. But
it's fucking stupid. I think it looks fine. I can't wait. So
I just wanted to poke Ken. I wanted to poke Ken a little bit because I love her and she's one of the. Okay, Ken has been harassing me for how long now? And then because she's part of the thing where Katie put fucking bags of dirt under my pillow while I was house sitting her and harassing me about the Dirt Man song. So
are you gonna sue me? Will you please write me a cease and desist?
Cease and desist, Ken.
I can give you a blueprint for it if you'd like.
I would. If you give me like a formatted letter, like a copy and change names with.
Yeah, there's got to be a template online, 100%.
There's got to be one on Twitter where this idiot did this things. Okay, let's dive into the town that dreaded sunshine from 1972. 76.
76.
Yeah.
Player.
Dude, okay. We're going to talk about both this and the remake / requel / whatever it
we had
is.
so much fun doing the last house on the right, knock at the cabin thing with whatever your fucking title was. I can't remember.
First off, this movie had the exact same weird horror comedy thing going for it, where it's half sitcom, half horror movie, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this? They obviously hadn't figured out horror comedies yet, but like getting in like sitcom music and weird, stupid people like doing funny things. You have to be careful with tone, guys, and they were kind of figuring it out in the 70s. But holy shit, they had sitcom music, sitcom characters, sitcom situations, and then like this dude. I still think the trombone kill is the most ridiculous kill in the entire history of slasher films, and they kind of deemed it a little bit in the remake.
It's more savage in the remake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like,
but everything is more savage in the remake. Though,
yeah,
so.
I have to say. I'm sure you did some research because you always do research. I forget because I'd seen something about it. This is actually based off of a true story, but like, I don't know. I don't think like most of these probably is that close, but like,
there is the whole concept of the Texarkana Moonlight murders.
Yeah.
That did end up claiming 5 lives and injured quite a few others. The only description that was ever obtained was of a hooded man, and no one has ever been convicted.
Which so means that like this was kind of like Zodiac, right? This was like an early version of Zodiac. I mean, not nearly as good as Zodiac, but
you'll make Zodiac Killer all horny if he hears you complimenting him. He's desperate for attention these days.
I mean, he's pretty
if he's
much
even still alive.
I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Dude, the end of his shit was wild because that man fell off the deep end. He was like, he was begging for attention in any way, shape, or form. Anyway, sorry. Zodiac is fabulous because the end, he's like so desperate for attention. And he doesn't seem to want to kill. He just wants attention.
I mean, most killers want attention, right? It's that thing
he
where
could have
like
become a streamer. Sorry.
Or a Twitter.
I'm allowed to make that joke.
You are.
Yes.
I'm also a streamer, a very, very, very large streamer. I have more than 600.
You have a huge network.
That explains a lot about this film, like how it does, because it seems then it follows those events pretty closely. At least so it kills about 5 people. Like it has that thing where these people get taken out by this guy, the Jason from Friday the 13th Part 2 with a bag on his head. I will never understand, and I think they need to go back and look. If the trombone thing, I assume the trombone thing was something they made up for the film because it doesn't.
I'm sure most everything with this film is something they made up for this film, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but and also the trombone kill, the remake. Okay, and this is something I want to mention before we get to it, and like I forget. Why is everyone in the 2014 film dressed like it's 1974? Or something? The fashion sense in that movie, I was trying to figure out why is everyone dressed up like it's the 70s.
I don't know, but I love it.
I
fucking love it. I love the aesthetic of the remake so much.
But it's supposed to be in 2013, and they're all, or 2014, they're all dressed up like it's 1967.
I don't care.
I know you don't care.
Love it.
I was just so. This is the thing, and Rod,
were you around in that time frame? Because that was pretty common. That was like a brief run through fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Like Aeropostale was pumping that shit out hard during that time period.
They were pumping out shit that was retro, but this film was like the whole scene where they're like the dude comes home from like Afghanistan or something like that, and they go to fuck it. I was like, had to make sure I hadn't like. I was like, the first time I watched it, I'm like, why is there a Vietnam flashback in the middle of this film? Because it was like completely Vietnam looking, and I'm just like, what is going?
Texarkana.
You know how much time I've spent in Texas and Arkansas?
I haven't spent any really other than a
zero,
PAX, but I'm going to tell you that that's Texarkana.
I mean, yes, it's 0. You were correct with that, Brian.
Yeah.
But
So
I
you
just-
actually don't know what they dress like in Texarkana.
apparently not.
No.
But
Neither do I. But guess what? I hope they dress like that because I fucking love it. I'm down.
There is so much, and like I think the original is like it was weirdly. It's weird that we did this the week after The Last House on the Left, because the whole like horror comedy thing they were trying to do, just like I said, was ranting about earlier.
Yeah, it's got a weird vibe to it. It's by the Charles B. Pierce made the original, and he also directed The Legend of Boggy Creek. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's a pretty cool movie, but it's got a similar vibe to it. And then he directed the sequel as well. He didn't do a whole lot of movies. He actually, the vast majority of Charles Pierce's career, he was a set decorator. So he's less of a filmmaker and more of like working on like the production team, really.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy this movie, his original. I do enjoy it. I don't think it's great by any means, but it's got such an entertainment value to me, in the sense that it's kind of imbalanced.
Well, dude,
It is got a similar feel to The Last House in the sense that it's kind of imbalanced. It's a less icky film to watch for sure.
Well, dude, but like the whole Dukes of Hazzard scene where the guy drives his car into the river or to the pond or whatever. I'm just like, this is I like if you were to throw the do 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 do.
Yeah, the goofy music.
Yeah, like it's just like
what,
like horror comedy is a very there's a reason why it's not like there's not like all that many like super successful horror comedies, because horror comedy is that balance of you need to be able to have someone writing a script and funny performers and shit like that so funny script, funny performers. It's not an easy balance, and it's like you have the moron cop in this, who is obviously the most comic relief in the whole film. But then like I messaged Kent like at the beginning of this film because it's like there's that like after that first attack, the guy picks up the 29-year-old who picks up the 17-year-old, and I'm just like, I would go back.
They've been dating like 6 weeks.
We're going back to Dr. Disrespect like territory.
Yeah,
and
I was like, oh, that's pretty fucking gross.
I'm like, why is
that? I never caught that before, but then I caught it this time when I was watching. And I was like, oh, that's kind of icky.
I was like, I messaged Kit because the way they were talking about him, I thought they were going to be the main characters. Nope, they weren't the main characters. But I'm like,
no.
I'm like, why are you?
We don't even see them get killed on screen. He just finds them.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that between the two movies. And Ken, was this your first time seeing the original?
Yes.
Okay. I love that this was both of your guys' first watch. Not that I've seen it a million times. I've certainly seen the remake a lot more. But when I noticed watching when we did, because I right back to back. I don't know if that's what you guys did or not.
Basically.
But I really noticed that that even the sequel is obviously it's kind of like a meta sequel, because it acknowledges the original film and then it remakes it all at the same time, which I think is really, really cool. And I think they do, in my opinion, I think they do a pretty damn good job of it. I actually think the remake is probably a better movie than the original one.
Yeah.
And what I really like about it is there's actually a massive synergy between the OG and the remake. Even it even hits the same beats, and you don't realize it does until the end, because like the first victims in the original, both of them survive.
Yep.
The first victims in the remake sequel reboot thing, you don't realize it, but both of them survive also, because you think that, obviously, spoiler alert, y'all, Corey's one of the fucking killers.
Yep.
Because you think he dies, but he actually doesn't.
Yeah.
It's so there is like they even hit a lot of the same beats, and there's like some really cool foreshadowing that they do in the sequel that you don't really notice. Like there's a sequence because they assign the cop to sit out from, and he turns out to be, spoiler alert, y'all, he's one of the killers as well because there's fucking two of them. But like there's like a sequence where our final girl, her name is escaping me for some fucking reason, Jamie, um she is kind of having a moment in her in her room, not like one of those kind of fun moments, like she's having a kind of moment where she's reliving like the trauma that she just experienced. And then it showed like she hears like what would be like kind of, it sounds kind of like a growl, but it's really like a real distorted like phantom breathing, and it's coming from the window when she looks out the window, and there's the cop out there, and he is the killer.
Yeah.
So it's like some really cool foreshadowing that and some kind of clues that you don't really catch on to until you've seen the movie multiple times. And I love it when they do shit like that, like visual and storytelling kind of stuff.
Dude.
The way they present the cop that's watching her, they never really present him in like really really like cool light. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always like a sort of an ominous kind of
he's just a
feeling
helpful.
about him.
He's really like helpful. But you know what? You made me think about it again. There are very much like ways that the remake reminds me of Scream, like from like where like coming from like the scene where she's like running away from him, and then the other one shows up, like and
right, yeah,
it's very Scream like,
yeah.
Because if you go back, the one character's dead, and then the officers are around for it. So they do that thing where they like, you don't know, and you assume there's that assumption that there's one killer, which Scream, and so it has that Scream vibe to it. So I wonder if there was a homage, like, or they were trying to do the Scream thing, because obviously they were paying homage to like the original.
Yeah, they certainly.
There was definitely a moment while we were watching it, because we watched the newer one with the Community, and I was like, "Oh, Scream much?" Like it was,
yeah. So yeah, this is kind of high on my list of like horror remakes that I think is I think it's pretty damn good. Honestly, this is to me, I genuinely think this is one of the better horror remakes that we've gotten in the past 10 years.
I think this does what a remake should do, where it takes something that like obviously the director and the people producing it enjoyed and felt like they wanted to do, and they take it and elevate it, because it's that like very much like The Thing, right? Like The Thing from Another World is something that John Carpenter loved, and he's like, I'm gonna take this and like redo it and make it like different and better. And it feels like
he made it his own.
Yeah, and it's kind of like that thing where they like, okay, we're gonna do this and we're gonna turn it up, because the original has like, there's still some gross fucking scenes in the original, like the woman getting tied to the tree and all the other stuff, and like it's just like, but like, and then like, but then they just take out all the slapstick things. I'm gonna lie, man. The fucking scene where the comedic relief cop is dressed up like a woman in the car with a dude, and the guy starts like like putting his arm around him, and he's like, what are you doing? He's like, we had to make the sheriff said we had to make it look real, and he's just like, it's just like shit like that in the original. It's just like, I'm just like, I get what you guys are doing, but you got like, it horror comedy hadn't been like, I don't know, man. I wonder what the first like real good horror comedy was, because you think of
Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, brother.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but like,
yeah,
I don't know, man. What they were trying to do with this and The Last House on the Left, they like, I just like a lot of the comedy elements are just like, what? Why?
It's like, interesting choice.
Yeah, the music, dude. Like this and The Last House on the Left, they just do the silliest music, and you're just like.
I felt though that like this one's original was much more like the cheesy comedy and stuff was definitely there, but it felt more controlled and more less manic-y than Last House on the Left.
Yeah, I don't.
There
I
is a
don't
little
disagree.
bit of an imbalance, but it's definitely reeled in a lot better than Last House on the Left was.
I think there was probably a budget thing too, because the Last House on the Left was such a small budget, and we talked about how they
This
did
was
it.
tiny too.
I know,
Like,
also,
this,
but like
yeah,
it felt like it had a little bit bigger. But
the budget on the original was $400,000.
what did we say last week for the Last House on the Left was like it was only like
I
100,000.
think it was
Yeah,
it was
it was
less
like
than that, I
100.
believe.
Yeah,
Maybe. Let's see.
it felt more like this felt more like a Hollywood movie than Last House on the Left.
90,000.
Yeah, see, it was like 4 times the budget, a little more
Yeah,
than 4 times.
it
So it's
was
like
less.
you sit there, and you go, okay, that makes sense, and it just, it's funny, man, because the tone of both these films is just so like, what was the fucking cop's name? The troublemaker or the idiot one?
Benson.
Uh,
I think it was Benson. It was
are you talking about his nickname?
Yeah, what was his nickname?
AC Benson.
No,
it
he
was
had a
like Ding Dong or Doorbell or
Yeah, because
Race Car.
they reference him in the sequel remake too. Like
Yeah,
they have
it was Spark Plug.
Spark Plug.
Plug.
That's
Yeah.
where you go.
Spark
They-
Plug. Yeah,
They have
that
this,
was the director. That was Charles B. Pierce.
Was it?
Yeah.
Because they have the scene in the remake where like Anthony Johnson, who is one of my favorite brothers of that film, is yelling
so
at the
good.
dude. He's like, "Stop it, spark plug," or whatever he does,
Yeah,
and
he
yells
calls
at
him
him. He's
Spark
like,
Plug.
"Oh, okay, you're doing that thing." And it's, dude, I will have to say also the gay guys going into the car, like the impound lot, or the not impound lot, but the like where you send fucked up cars and shit, and they're like, "Oh, I thought you could put it in your mouth or whatever."
You're talking about
In the new one.
Yeah, the new one. Yeah,
I saw a butt on Ken's screen.
Yeah.
kitty
A
cat
butt.
butt.
No,
Kitty-
no, it wasn't.
No.
It was a man butt.
Yeah.
It's a man butt.
It was a man butt.
It was a cat's butt.
Yeah.
I thought that scene made me laugh because it was like the whole like, it was kind of like
It's like cute for a second because it's cute. Oh, I see the dude. It's cute for a second because it's like two young kids trying to discover who they are.
Yeah.
You know. And then obviously it takes an absolutely horrible fucking turn
Yeah.
for these two poor souls. But yeah, that's where they slightly elevate the trumpet sequence.
Yeah, because it felt way more brutal in the remake.
It did. And yeah, the trumpet sequence in the original it's interesting that they chose to bring it back because it almost doesn't really work.
No, dude,
it almost doesn't.
It
like,
is hokey
kinda
as
rough.
shit in the original, dude. It is.
But then the remake it makes it somewhat passable.
Yeah.
But it's probably the fact that you can actually see the knife penetration. You know, it's more brutal to watch.
It
So
feels
that's
more
probably why.
like that first, like that opening kill scene in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, where just like all the hospital scene where like all the stabbings just feel so visceral, like they feel like
Yeah.
you're like, it's kind of like way more like that because the original it feels like it feels like you were I was like sitting next to you, Brian, like going tickle tickle with like a fake knife, like and just hitting you with it. That's what it feels like. It's like that, like what? And then like in the original, there's like the guy's like and there's no sound coming out.
Yeah,
And
he doesn't make any. He doesn't successfully hit any notes.
in the remake, he's doing. You can hear a little of the air blowing through, and it's like, oh, you're like, okay. And you understand the thing with the remake is that you get context on why the guy's using it because you go because it happened in the original movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it feels like they're like, oh, this is silly, but I'm gonna fucking do it and I'm gonna do it right, and they fucking
right,
yeah, dude,
yeah.
And also it makes me laugh because like I am thoroughly on the train that the Terminator is a slasher, and the
Because it
original,
is.
yeah, but people are like, but you don't use a knife. Like in the original, he just shoots most of the people, and like, I watching the dude for was it what's his name in Office Space uh the sheriff from the Last Time on the Left remake. He was the boss in Office Space.
Yeah, you're talking about
What's his?
uh, the actor's name.
No, I meant the character's name. I was more.
Well, it's Hank Tillman, but it's Gary Cole. The actor's name is Gary Cole, but the chief deputy Hank Tillman.
Well, what was his name in Office Space?
I cannot remember.
God damn it.
Lumberg.
Yeah, Lumberg.
Yeah. Yeah.
Watching Lumberg get a blowjob and then like getting it just
And then
like,
his eye just fucking exploding.
Yeah, I know, you're like well, and also that's one of the things about that film that like also like Last House on the Left, like we were watching last week. That was one of the more like brutal shootings. Like cuz usually you shoot someone and they're just like, oh, it's just a little red dot, you know, whatever, but like damn, Lumberg got shot while I mean,
in the fucking a hell of a shot in the eyeball. That was actually kind of a brutal scene in the original though.
Yeah,
because they got because he got shot a couple times. She got shot. But she lived.
Yeah,
she survived her attack.
Yeah,
the girl in the remake did not because she ended up getting turned into a scarecrow.
Yeah,
so
Which was sick, by the way.
right.
Very, very cool.
That scene in the original, like you don't expect it at all. You're just sitting there and the guy's like getting shot through the fucking window. I think that whole like the revolver with the silencer is so fucking like a cool weapon choice, right? Like and it makes sense because it's like the original takes place in 1946 while like, you know, everyone's coming back from World War II.
Yeah.
But it's that thing where it's interesting because obviously the guy in real life did the same thing. It's like he doesn't know what he's doing and tries to kill people and kind of fucks it up a little bit and then learns his lesson and like starts really fucking shit up and you're just like, damn. And you have to, that's the thing too. Like the original film like leaves that air of mystery to it. Just like, that's why Zodiac came to mind like afterwards, or like you like never found the killer. And so they take that and it's why like the remake / whatever requel whatever is at least a cool concept because they take that original film which was so much based on the real world and going, well, if they'd never found the killer, maybe there's gonna be revenge or whatever from like down the road. And I think that's one of the cooler things about the requel kind of thing, you know.
Yeah. I genuinely think that The Town That Dreaded Sundown meta sequel remake is pretty fucking good. I really like it, and it had some relatively competent hands too because it's produced by Jason Blum and
Ryan Murphy.
Ryan Murphy, exactly, from American Horror Story. And then the director directed like a lot of season 2, I think, of American Horror Story. He directed a couple episodes of the first one and some episodes of fucking Glee.
Who directed the remake? Was it Ryan Murphy who did that? Or was it?
No, he didn't direct the remake. It was Ryan Murphy produced it with Jason Blum, though. Yeah. Alfonso Gomez Rejon is the gentleman that directed the remake.
It does make sense now. I mean, I know Dennis O'Hare. I knew Dennis O'Hare was going to play somewhat of a part in it just because of where he was at in the town hall. But it does make sense that he's in it because Ryan Murphy does a lot with Dennis O'Hare on a regular basis. So,
yeah, I like the character that he played in the remake too. He played Charles B. Pierce's son, and I love the character that they wrote for him was kind of like this, you know, bitter fucking drunk that his dad's legacy isn't at all what he thinks it should be, kind of
Yeah.
thing. I like the character, but it was really cool. Like I genuinely like the fucking. I'm sorry, this is a good fucking movie. Okay,
Well, dude, what if
it's
like
good. Like and we got a good final girl too. I really like
Mhm.
that character, Jamie. I think she's a really good
why?
final girl.
You know who she reminded me, and I had to double check. She reminded me of the chick from God damn it! Now I'm having a brain fart. The movie where everyone was getting killed. Like they went to a family reunion and everyone got killed. Like during the
You're
dinner.
next.
What? Yeah, you're next. She reminded the
Yeah.
chick from You're Next, and
I like that. That's good. That's strong because she's
yeah,
badass.
yeah. So like that was who she reminded me of the whole time, and then like she does a really good job because it's like that thing where you're like she does a very good like mix of like, oh, you're horrified at first, but then you're fighting back and whatever. And
Yeah, she's a trooper, man. She because she starts her own investigation and she does a really good job. It shows, you know, because she is introduced as being really intelligent because that's like one of the first things Corey and her were talking about
yeah,
is like the schools that she was applying to, and he's like, well, you're probably going way off to a really big college because you're super smart and shit. And then the motives, I will say, are interesting on his behalf. Like he wants to be remembered for something bigger than just playing football in a small town, and he's so fucking suffocated by this small town that he's like, I'll just start killing bitches. Like, what the fuck?
again,
bro?
it goes back to Scream, man. It's like Scream, like that.
Start a podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Like there's other ways. Start a podcast, bro.
Well, dude, it's very much like that. Like that. I mean, you're comparing it to. I mean, obviously, this came out in 2014. Like, it's the like. You look at it and you look at school shooters, you look at serial killers, you look at all
Yeah.
these things, and it's like a lot of these people do this crazy shit, either real or fake, just to get remembered. It's that thing of, I want to be special, I want to be remembered, I want to be a note. And these motherfuckers don't care if they even survive the process. It's just like the thought
Right.
process of like being important, being remembered, being a note in history is enough for them to do insane shit, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
And it was the character, it was the actor that we mentioned in the last episode, the cute
Well,
little young guy, the handsome little young guy from fucking Unbreakable and all that shit.
I mean,
And-
he a gladiator. I mean,
Gladiator, yeah,
dude, he's a
Gladiator.
good-looking dude too. Like he's like a good-looking dude who like in.
Oh,
like,
he's super cute. Yeah, he's a super cute guy. Spencer
Yeah.
Treat Clark, he's very handsome.
I mean,
How
dude,
old is he nowadays? He's still young. He's 36 now, so he's like, you know,
he's older than that baby
yeah,
Ken.
he's old. Golly, he doesn't look 30. He still looks really good.
Ken's like,
Yeah.
what, bitch? Ken, what kind of what
Yeah.
kind of cool facts did you find about either like the original or the remake?
Some of like there's some different props from different films that are in the original. As far as like there's also like recycled footage in the original one. In 1972, there was a movie called The Legend of Boggy Creek, which was
Yeah.
Charles B. Pierce's first feature film.
Yeah.
The swamp scenes, some of them are actually recycled footage from that, which I thought was really cool. The script originally did not have an ending. So Andrew Prine did one. And the sack that the killer wears on his head was, like we had mentioned earlier, the inspiration for the mask on Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th, Part 2. And then as far as like the newer one, I honestly didn't dig too much into that one. So hold, please. We already talked about Sparkplug. And yeah, Lone Wolf was an actual Texas Ranger who was also in the original. So yeah, but I mean, as far as that one, I didn't really dig a lot on that one.
Yeah.
I personally had a lot of fun with both of them. I will say the one thing that has driven me crazy about watching the older movies that we have, because we did, Toxic Avenger, we did Last House on the Left, and now we've done this one. This one's sound quality was exponentially better as far as for the 70s.
Yeah.
But goodness, I'm so glad that at some point in time we figured out how to muffle screams, because God.
Yeah.
I mean, audio is such a weird thing because, like, I mean, we all know that fucking trouble of, like, if you don't have, like, a sound system where you're sitting there, like, and you're like, oh, it's, like, at a 10, and then something happens and it's at a 37, and you're like, what? I can't hear anymore because the movie, and it's just, like, that mix of all that shit is just fucking wild, man. And that happens way more with movies than it does TV shows, but it's just, like,
Yeah.
fuck, man. Blowing people's ears out and shit, and you're just like, fuck this noise. And I don't know, it as we live in a world where like movies are made for theaters, yeah, I get it, but like, don't destroy the hearing of everyone watching your film because of that. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck, stop, just make it like so you don't blow people's hearing out. Like doing podcast audio, you have to like mix it and make sure it's like not maxing out and doing all that shit. It's just like, I'm not saying you have to have your audio like at 50 the entire time, but like, fuck, man, don't just like, and I know like in modern horror, especially, like that's one of the big things they do to scare people is like jump scares or primarily like noises, right? But like, fuck, man, don't do that. Stop it. Stop it. Stop.
That was an interesting rant, Rod.
I mean, most of my rants are interesting.
How do you really feel, Grandpa?
Back in my day, get off my lawn, you whippersnappers.
Rod, what'd you think of the movies?
I thought I generally like both of them. I enjoyed. I think that the first one, this is my first watch. I liked it. But the tone whiplash throws me off, and that's just a thing of watching these movies in 2024, right? You're watching movies like almost 50 years later. You're like, that tone is a thing that it's different, man. Like you have different times in different tones. Like different tones are. It's like horror in general. Like you have different horror, like what people are scared of transitions into different horror movies, right? And like the fears and everything like that. But like the tone whiplash in the original threw me off, and it was just like The Last House on the Left. But man, I thought it was generally pretty good. And that whole like, we never caught the killer thing is a real, like, it's a legit thing. It's like, did you do that Korean film with me and Josh where what the fuck was that even called? Where the serial killers are running around killing people, and then like they made the movie about it, and then they were like, hey, guess what? This is like a real story. And then they ended up catching the guy in like 2008 or 2018 or whatever it was, and like the serial killer in Korea hadn't been caught when they made the movie. Same like Zodiac in this film. Were you around when we did that one?
I don't think so.
It's that interesting aspect of incorporating real life mysteries into like these kind of films. It's like makes it intriguing because it's like that thing where like, oh, he's still out there kind of thing, right? And so I can't even think of the name of that Korean film at this moment, but that film was awesome too. But it has a really cool moment at the end where they're like, the guy is probably out there watching, and then the guy like looks into the fucking camera like it's fucking Deadpool, and like it's like that fourth wall breaking shit. And the guy had actually like after he got caught, he went out and admitted he had gone and seen the film about him. So that thought process of like bringing the real world into it is pretty cool. I think that it sucks that these guys, like when they don't get caught, or when they get caught for other things and then don't like get caught for doing the shit, it's like it's frustrating because that's always the thing, like with serial killers, right? Is that they get caught for another crime, But I thought the original was good. I just think the tone Whiplash is a little wild. I thought the new one, I thought, like I said, it's very Scream inspired, and I think they took the things they enjoyed from the original and amplified them. Like that trombone kill in the original was fucking terrible, and because it didn't feel real. It didn't feel like brutal like the remake. So I thought they were both good. I enjoyed the original the remake when I saw it, and it was good to see like kind of where it came before that. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, that's right. I remember you saying that you'd seen the remake but not the original.
What about you, Ken?
I really liked both of them. I liked the humor balance in the original, and then there were some parts of the newer one that I wasn't like hugely in love with. But it didn't change the fact that both of them were great. They were really entertaining. They weren't slow or too draggy, and yeah, I really enjoyed them. I spent the entire time trying to figure out who the killer was going to be because, again, I watched the remake before I watched the original.
Yeah.
I spent the entire time, and every single one, like, I fell right into their trap, right? Like, exactly what they wanted. I'd be like, it's going to be this dude. Nope. It's going to be this dude. Nope.
Watching the original didn't help you figure out who the killer was, though, because, like, I'd watched them back to back.
There were too many names and shit going on that I was like,
that it was the whole like the one character that one of the killers was dead kind of thing, and like I don't know if that's the greatest trope ever, but like I think they did an okay job with it in the remake. But yeah,
I thought they it is it is kind of a cop out.
Yeah,
it can feel like it anyway when they do that kind of shit. It's like, oh, that the killer was dead, blah blah blah.
Well, it reminds me of Bob's Burgers, where they did the theater, the murder mystery theater.
Yeah.
And Linda's like, and guess what? The killer was me. And they're like, you lied to us. She's like, no, it's a twist. And they're like, no, you lied to us. And that's what it kind of reminds me of. It's a. I don't like how often is the killer was dead was who wasn't really dead thing is actually like a good twist. I don't know.
Exactly. But they pull off pretty good in this one.
Yeah, it doesn't make you angry, right? Which is
it doesn't piss you off as much as it could. But they did the same thing in the last Scream movie,
dude. I will never, dude.
That made me mad. I was
that
like,
third act of Scream 6. The third act of Scream 6 made me angry. I mean, it legitimately
elements
made me
of
angry.
It made me mad. I still, as a whole, I still really like Scream 6. I still think it's really good, but elements of the final act piss me off.
I say this all the time. When you have characters that will get are invincible, it takes away all the stakes of the fucking film. Scream 6 is like, hey, Chad should have died in Scream 5. Okay, he survived. He got fucked up even worse in Scream 6. And then they're like, oh, but he's fine. Fuck you. Yeah. He's not fine. That motherfucker's dead. Dead.
And all for naught because he's not even going to be in the next Scream movie.
That's because of fucking the people behind things and
Spyglass.
Yeah. I think that these movies also are not very outside of the horror community are not known at all. I mean, I think when I watched the remake, I was like, I've never seen the original, and that was years ago, and I'm just like, okay, and I had fun with it, but it's like these films don't feel very well known even in the horror community, you know?
No, Town. I think you're right. I think they get overlooked, particularly the original. Sure. I can understand why the remake would get overlooked a little bit. It just didn't have they didn't know big release or anything like that. I think the movie only made $100,000 in the box office. So yeah, it was they didn't do a big huge promotional thing to try to even push this movie super aggressively.
It felt like a streaming movie, in a good way, but it felt like a streaming movie. Yeah.
But the fact that the original gets overlooked is kind of a fucking tragedy in a way, because I actually think that The Town That Dreaded Sundown to me, this is almost required viewing.
Yeah,
Well,
I
If
agree.
you're a horror enthusiast,
Yeah.
because it really should, in my opinion, hold a higher place in the history of horror cinema than what it does.
I think
So
I think part of the problem is those Texarkana killings aren't that well known, right? Like that's the
could be.
thing. Like the Zodiac killings are fucking massive and like got published all over the place, and they kind of do that like where they in the end of the original where they're like kind of talking about how it got national media, but like one the body count wasn't all that high. I mean, 5 people is still fucking high, but like it wasn't something that they fucking latched onto, right? And
Right.
which is something that's just like fuck, man. And so it's that thought process of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get killed by a serial killer, and because the serial killer didn't kill like 100 people and recognize them, no one's ever gonna realize that or It's
Yeah.
just, but yeah, well, it's the thing too where it's that part of the slasher genre beginning established, right? It came out in between Black Christmas and Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Halloween. So it came out those Texas Chainsaw Black Christmas came out in 74. This movie came out in 76. Halloween 78. So it's very much in that process of like it's in there like trying to
Yeah, it's in the
establish.
right time frame.
Yeah.
I guess that when you're bookended by 2 and 3 of the greatest of all time, it's gonna cast a pretty big shadow because
Yeah.
Black Christmas and Chainsaw and Halloween are 3 of the absolute greatest.
Which is funny about Black Christmas is that Black Christmas continues not to like the people outside of the like horror community don't realize what it is, and then they just for them it's these movies that just keep getting remade and not like
Yeah.
Dude, like fuck man, that movie has records for how many times it's been remade. I guess Texas Chainsaw is coming up there real quick with how many remakes in Halloween.
Chainsaw's only been remade once.
Well, I know, but like all the remakes / reboots, like / timeline editions and stuff like that is kind of what I'm saying.
Oh,
But,
I
like,
see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
It's like the thing where like, I mean,
You're saying like in that universe.
yeah, and it's Black Christmas is one, it's a great film, but two, it's that thing where like it isn't appreciated outside the horror community. The things like Halloween are and like things like that, right? And so it's weird that seeing that like this movie is kind of even less now acknowledged.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Well, people tend to go to the director of Black Christmas's other movie a little more than this one.
It was National
Lampoon.
Lampoon.
He directed A Christmas Story, bro.
Oh yeah, it was a Christmas Story. Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
Bob Clark, man, he made 2 of the greatest Christmas movies ever.
You know what's
one
funny
horror
is
movie and one comedy.
growing up in Cleveland, where that movie takes place, that movie was like whatever, and I got so run out by the time I was like a teenager that like I haven't watched that film in 30 years, 20 years.
It's crazy because I've seen it a few times, but I've managed to avoid the channels that play it back to back to back to back during Christmas, like TBS does.
My
Is TBS still around?
TBS?
Yeah.
Or PBS?
TBS.
Yeah, TBS is still a thing. Yeah, they show nothing but Big Bang Theory and bad wrestling shows.
Yeah.
Seems
Brian
right.
and his love of AEW.
Oh, Brian doesn't love AEW.
I know my shows that movies I watch every Christmas are Die Hard and Home Alone, and like those are the ones that I watch every Christmas.
I don't watch Home Alone, but I watch Die Hard every Christmas.
Home Alone, I don't know, is a very like sentimental piece of my childhood, and I love that fucking movie.
I get it.
I love that movie.
I was 30 when it came out, so it didn't hit me.
You weren't 30, Brian. You were 67 years old when Home Alone.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I was 100. I was 812.
You were a Highlander, Brian. You were a Highlander. Ken, I have to say, did you see? So you had no idea that the cop and the original killer, the victim, were the killers in the sequel reboot?
No. I started to think it was the cop quite a bit. Like there were like towards the end, I was like, all right, well, there's not that many people left, and this dude's been awfully quiet. But I was like, maybe. and Jezza had mentioned The Cop because again, we watched this one in Discord. There were a bunch of us for this one. And she had mentioned The Cop, but none of us thought Corey, like at all. No, it never, like, and it was so funny because I'd finally be like, it's totally this person. And then like 2 minutes later, they're dead. And I was like, okay, maybe don't guess anymore because we're not going to have any
'Cause
people
you're
left.
killing half the cast.
The whole cast is dead.
Did you think it was the boyfriend?
I thought it was the guy that she was like hanging out with.
Yeah.
I thought it
She
was
broke a piece off to.
Yeah.
At the end
I
there.
thought it was Dennis O'Hare's character.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was the preacher. I thought it was a couple of the other cops.
I got kind of sad watching. You reminded me the preacher who was also the father in Gilmore Girls, and which
he was the head vampire in Lost Boys.
That also.
Oh,
What?
I need
Okay.
to rewatch that so bad.
What is my problem that I associate him with Gilmore Girls before?
That's what I was just getting ready to say. I was like, we were sitting here in the middle of a horror podcast. He's like, glosses over the fact that Edward Herrmann was Max in Lost Boys to instead reach out and be like, oh, he was the dad of Gilmore.
Dude, I do love Lost Boys, but Gilmore Girls is a fucking really well done show.
A great show.
And
I'm sure.
I love Lorelai,
and
every time I see her, I go, "Fuck me, Santa! Fuck me, Santa! Fuck me, Santa!" Which is Bad Santa. You've seen Bad Santa, right, Ken?
No. Wait, yes.
Fuck, we should do that. I know it's not a horror movie at all, but
I mean, is it? Is it, Brian? Is it a horror movie?
No, I can't even stretch that.
I love Billy Bob in that movie, though.
People die in it.
What?
Dude, did you know that he voiced in a Ghibli movie? Billy Bob Thornton?
Yeah, he was in the Heron movie that just came out.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet. He was in an older one.
He was in Spirited Away, right?
Yeah.
Yep. That was my first Ghibli movie. Was Spirited Away.
I don't know what a Ghibli movie is.
It's a Japanese animation studio that did Spirited Away, The Howling Castle, and a bunch of other
Howl's Moving Castle, My Neighbor Totoro.
I've heard of that for some reason.
Dude, that I never would have watched because I was never into anime, but started watching and I love them. They are so cute and so wholesome. Kiki's Delivery Service, Princess Mononoke.
That sounds like a porno, yo.
I'm gonna deliver my service.
Did you say Kiki's Delivery Service?
Yeah. It's about a witch that delivers things.
It's a little girl. She's a little witch.
Yep. You know what's funny is Katie has the original non-edited Disney versions of those films in English, and she's very Go talk to Classy Katie about that.
Erotic pleasures.
Yeah. Yep. Dude, their last one that it was like CG, they did a Studio Ghibli like CG movie felt like 2/3 of a movie, and I can't even think of the name of it, and I was just like, what the fuck is this shit? What
did you guys watch the new Transformers trailer for the new cartoon that's coming?
No, but I hear it was good. I heard that movie was good.
Yeah, it looks so good, dude. I can't wait. It's got Chris Hemsworth playing Optimus Prime, but he doesn't just talk like Chris. Like he sounds like a young Optimus Prime, and David Tyree Henry plays Megatron.
Yeah, it was like how they became
an origin story. It's an origin, so it's when they're younger and they're best friends.
They were when they were space docking and everything.
Yeah. But yeah, they it looks badass though. It looks really good.
I was good. I don't know. I think I told you, Brian, but I went and saw Beetlejuice yesterday. And
So what'd you think?
I thought it was good. I thought it was like loved William Dafoe. Michael Keaton's awesome, and I think that the whole point of them having to jump around, that they're one of the cast members of the original got caught like with kiddie porn or trying to fuck like underage boys was a little weird, but I think they did a good job of moving around.
I heard they handled that really well.
It was weird that they I didn't even expect his face in it, but they had him as like CGI like claymation at one point, and then so I thought it was good. So it's worth seeing.
Enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward. I might go tonight and catch a late showing.
Yeah, it's worth seeing.
Tomorrow.
It's like I think they do. I mean, Jenna Ortega is awesome, as we talked about her plenty of times in this podcast. And then I think she can stop playing high school students, But like,
That's never going to be able to happen. Like she's so fucking small and young looking.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if you put her in anything that she plays anything older than like at the youngest probably 22, it's going to be fucking weird.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
she's
she
just
does-
so small and little and young looking.
Also, Winona Ryder with her bangs from the original. It was good to see again. So
Fuck yeah.
I like the fact that they stayed away from CG. There's CG in it, but like mostly practical effects, and it made me happy.
Good.
So
Did you two see the little teaser trailer for Wolfman?
dude, I saw that the Halloween Horror Nights costume that they showed out that was horrifying looking.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was just like, if you guys think that that's what the monster is going to look like in the fucking movie, then you're a fucking idiot.
No,
like,
it's not. No, it's not that I thought that. I was just like, why is this the first thing that you show from this film?
I agree with you, and I wasn't intending to throw you in that category by any means, but you saw those people. They're like, oh, this movie's going to look like shit. And I'm like, dude, that is a fucking.
And also, Lee knows what the fuck he's doing, guys. You guys watch the Visible. It's
Lee Wanell, I trust.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think the teaser trailer looks fantastic.
They don't show much in it, but yeah,
they don't show shit. They don't need to, but the vibe that it has.
You know what? The synopsis actually reminds me of Dog Soldiers. Going back to my favorite like a vampire or werewolf movie of all time because of the like what's in the house with you and it's outside and kind of thing. So yeah, I think that's cool.
Right.
So. Yeah. Okay. Ken has demanded we watch Trap next week, and
I'm here for it.
And you're going to go into it with an open mind.
My open mind is that M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong is terrible, but I will watch it anyways.
That's so weird,
dude. He's made one great movie.
One. That's more than you.
I've made great movies, but they're just not. And they don't involve.
You've made great 30-second clips that you post on Tinder.
No. I don't publish my movies, Brian, because I can't brag too much.
You send them to me instead.
I mean, I do, but that's because you're the one blowing me in them. That's why. So, okay, Trap next week. Go to murderboost.com.
I'm excited.
Buy our gear and do those things. Can your things that you will promote go?
Continue.com, KINTINUE. You can find me at twitch.tv/continue, KINTINUE, every day except for Saturday. However, if you're watching this podcast on Thursday, I will be not working this Friday. Also on the Twitters, and on the Instagrams and the TikToks and the Fansly. I've been streaming on TikTok. What a weird place. I think I got shadow banned the other day because I showed a 30-second clip of a old TV show, like how to mail things into the show. So I don't know. I gotta reach out to my contact, but yeah.
Follow Ken.
How long have you been streaming on TikTok?
Only a few weeks now. I got invited to the program like last year, maybe. Well, it was longer than that. It's been a while. But I couldn't get things to work and there was just too much shit going on. And I was like, fuck it, whatever. And then now I'm like, okay. So I got all my stuff cleared to be able to do it. But like, it's ridiculous because I had to have a partner rep approve me, even though technically I met the qualifications because gaming, you only have to have 1,000 followers. And then if you want to use the TikTok studio, you have to have 10,000 unless you're doing gaming. But gaming, like, it was very weird, but
interesting. Yeah. I hear that there's pretty good money to be made streaming to TikTok. I saw a guy that posted his breakdown as a Twitch stream. He's not a partner, but he's got a decent community, and he posted down the breakdown of his like monthly income streaming on Twitch and TikTok, and versus his bills and everything. And the vast majority of his income was from TikTok streaming. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, he does pretty good on TikTok. I thought that's pretty cool.
I mean,
it's just nice to have another platform.
I mean, it's only it's only valid for another 2.5 months. So.
What makes you say that?
Because then it's banned.
It's banned in the U.S. at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Is it going to be banned in the U.S.?
Yeah, they
at the end
passed
of
the
year?
law already. Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, okay. Get it while you can, I guess. That
Yeah,
sucks.
yeah.
Well,
Okay.
there'll be something else. So.
There will. Brian, your shit.
Okay, you can find me here, and you can find me on the We're Gonna Make You Watch podcast. And the next episode that we're actually getting ready to record tomorrow is we are forcing Warren to watch Trick or Treat. That episode will not be published yet, though, when you guys are listening to this, but it's on the way.
Okay. And I am Rod_Johnson on Twitch and Twitter, and I've been playing Starfield as a granny who goes around killing people in Starfield. So.
Is that what you're playing on stream right now? Starfield?
Yeah, my Starfield, and her name is Gladys, and I just go, "Oh, don't you know?" And then I kill a bunch of people, and then I do this. So that's what I've been doing on the Twitch. So.
What have you been playing, Ken?
I've been playing Surviving Mars, which is another colony manager simulator on Mars, and you build them into little bubbles and domes. And I got bored with it today, so I started a new run, and I've made it much more complicated for myself.
Kid, this is Ken every day playing that game. Why are you homeless? Why don't you have a job? Why are you dead? And then she figures it out.
Because they have home. And they've got homes right next to their jobs, but then they want to take a shuttle that takes like 10 hours to a different dome on the other side. And then they're like, oh, I'm so bad that I'm not working in my home dome. And so I'm like, okay, well, let me move you to work into your home dome. And then they're like, okay, well, I work in this dome, so I'm going to go move into this completely other dome. And then I'm going to be like, oh, I don't work in my home dome. I'm like, okay, I'll move your job. Fuck it, whatever. Do what you want.
I love those kinds of games. They infuriate me, but I do love them.
Yeah, I am having a blast with it. That's why today I went in and I was like, all right, I made a small starter dome, and then I saved up enough research to get the bigger dome, and I've got it set up to where now I can just funnel people exactly where I want them and keep the other dome closed. So tomorrow, that's going to be the craziness.
Is one of them Biodome starring Pauly Shore?
No.
Okay. Well, it should be. Okay, guys, we will catch you guys next week with Trap, and it's gonna be terrible. And love you guys. We'll catch you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. I just do these things to make Ken angry.